One thing towards, at the end of the Civil War, um, this was one of my favorite parts of the book, was discussing the assassination of President Lincoln and Boutwell's role in investigating that. Now, at this point, he is a member of Congress. He's a representative, and you tell the story. He leads the committee to investigate the assassination.
When George got his teeth into something, he wouldn't let go. And on this one, he certainly got his teeth in, I think perhaps a bit too much. He became a bit too obsessed with all of the rumors that were floating around and some evidence that Confederate officials in Richmond had been directly involved in aiding the conspiracy of John Wilkes Booth and others against Lincoln. Now, that was true in terms of their Booth's plan to kidnap Lincoln in the spring of 1865. Booth's decision to kill Lincoln was his own. It was not orchestrated by the Confederates in Richmond or by their spy network in Montreal or whatever. But George continued to believe that Jefferson Davis had played a salutary direct role in the assassination of Lincoln, and he really was going to follow the evidence wherever it went. Now, to his credit, at the end, he himself admitted that the evidence wasn't there. As much as he would have liked to have implicated Jefferson Davis in that plot, he did admit that Booth had pretty much acted on his own. But for about a 12-month period, 1865, 1866, he's leading this congressional committee looking into the assassination, and he is just, he's a man on a mission.
And well, at the beginning, Boutwell was believing in or trying to investigate some of these conspiracies about the Confederacy. Towards the end of the investigation and post-investigation, Boutwell was actually the subject of some of the conspiracies around Lincoln's assassination. And one of the things that you write about is there's this briefcase that Boutwell swears to never release the contents of.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit about that and just how kind of conspiracies around this issue ran amok around Boutwell?
That box of materials that you're referring to that was deposited in the National Archives is one of the great hanging threads of the book. I was not able to resolve that fully one way or the other. I will say that, conspiracy theories were just as welcome and just as in vogue back then as they are now. They were just flowing all around, even touching Andrew Johnson for a while, that Johnson had a role in Lincoln's death so he could become president. But the one you're referring to centered on Edwin Stanton as Secretary of War, that Stanton had felt that Lincoln would be too lenient against the South, and so he got people like Boutwell and others to join him in this conspiracy to kill Abraham Lincoln so that the South would be duly punished after the war. All of that has been totally debunked as well. As you referenced, George's kind of cryptic remark about these materials that he had gathered as leader of the congressional committee that he put into a box that he said should never see the light of day. Now, he also said they had no bearing on the conspiracy cases he was looking into, which leads you to say, well, so why were they so important? But for some reason, he said they should never see the light of day. Perhaps they were scurrilous information about Stanton in another regard, who knows? But those materials have never been located. And I did contact people at the National Archives who kind of sent me what was available in there. And I thought it was really telling. There was a little handwritten note from early 1950s that another researcher had been in there looking for the same thing and had not been able to find anything as well. So maybe somebody else will come along in the future and unearth what was so important in that box of materials that George said should never see the light of day.